Welcome, everyone, to episode number 14 of We Are Family. I'm Jake Bell, joined by Peyton Celesti and Nathan Schivins. And we got some stuff to talk about, so I'm not going to make too long of an intro. Let's just get right into college football, because it's been kind of crazy this year. I think you guys can all agree. So, Nate, why don't you go first? I know you have the rankings up.
Yeah, so the first college football playoff rankings were released on Tuesday night. That's what everybody was watching, obviously, for sure on Tuesday night.
Oh,
There's nothing else going on.
Yep.
That was it all,
There was so much
serious.
happening. We had the election, the NFL trade
Election?
deadline.
What do you mean election?
The election. we don't know what you're talking about. But they had I didn't even realize the NFL trade deadline
I
was
had
the
no
same
idea.
day.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Which
I-
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll
but,
talk about that too.
yeah.
But so they were released, and no major surprises. I felt. Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, Miami 4, Texas 5, Penn State 6. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but Penn State obviously at 6, Pitt at 18, SMU who beat Pitt on Saturday at 13, Boise comes in at 12, and a couple ACC teams, Louisville at 22 after beating Clemson thoroughly on the road, and then Clemson falling to 23, and Army sneaking in there at 25. Still got a chance.
Are they still undefeated?
They're 8-0.
They're
They're
8-0.
8-0, okay.
But
Do they play any good teams?
They play Notre Dame.
Yeah, I was going to
next
say,
week.
they have
well,
to
they're-
do
I mean,
what Navy
if
had to
Navy
do.
got destroyed by Notre Dame, so
Yeah.
if Army can put up a good fight,
Yeah.
that shows that maybe they're a little more legitimate
But
than
this week,
Navy.
This week they play at North Texas, and before you say
Oh, North Texas.
no, but North Texas
aren't they decent? They're decent.
they
or what-
every year this is the same with them. They score like a ton of points, but they give up so many points.
Yeah,
They're kind of
That could be because
they almost
Army,
beat
they
Tulane.
run the ball, slow the game down.
right.
yeah.
But I don't know how good Army's played or how good Army really is because they've played like the worst schedule I've ever seen. It is just
Yeah.
the bottom of every bottom feeder in the American Conference they've played. So we'll see. But not too many surprises. Big question was where was Indiana and Brigham Young gonna be? They were 8 and 9 respectively. Is it respectively or respectfully?
Respectively.
Respectively.
Respectively. Oh, yeah, respectively.
Respectively.
Yeah.
And SMU at 13. And a big question too was where were some of these 2-loss SEC teams gonna be? Alabama at 11, and A&M at 14, LSU at 15, Ole Miss at 16. So that'll sort itself out. We got some big SEC games this weekend with Alabama going to LSU, and then Georgia going to Ole Miss. Because if Ole Miss loses that one, they're gonna be out, and whoever loses Alabama LSU is gonna be out too. So Pitt's at 18. I figured they were going to be higher than they would in the AP pool just because they have one loss, and this is like a blank slate kind of thing. It was the first college football playoff rankings. So I figured they would be a little bit higher, and you're not going to put, a 2-loss Big 12 team over them at this point right now. So.
I mean, I would have.
Well, the committee's not going to.
I guess they're not, but
Well,
I mean.
you're just you're
You're a Pitt
cynical.
hater.
You're
Yeah.
No,
you're
I'm
a
not. I
cynic.
root for them every week. But look, are they better than Kansas State? Are they really better than Colorado?
I
don't think
on a
so.
neutral. I think on a neutral site it would be. Kansas State might be favored, but it might be like -1 or -2.
Yeah.
I mean,
In my opinion, the Vegas has been low on
they
Pitt.
faced their best challenge of the year, and they got smoked.
Yeah.
I mean, the best team they played, arguably, before that was Cincinnati, and they're
Yeah.
not ranked. West Virginia is not all that good as we thought they might be, and they got absolutely torched. And the Big 12 is better than the ACC, so I think Pitt has a little
Well,
bit.
Yeah.
I think Pitt has a
well,
little bit of a yes. They're better than the ACC.
ACC.
That they had a little bit of a generous ranking there, but not maybe by a couple spots. I mean, because Washington State, I don't know anything about them, so I can't tell
Well,
you.
they've talked about soft schedules. They've played a very.
That's what
Yeah.
you- that's what you told me.
They're basically in the Mountain West Conference because that's all they play this year.
Yeah.
Louisville and Clemson, I think they're both going to be better than Pitt in the end. I mean, they're right now, technically they should be below them, but Louisville they already played Notre Dame, they already played Clemson, they played SMU, they lost to another,
And Miami.
and they lost
Yeah.
them. So Louisville's just played a much tougher schedule than Pitt. That's why they have 3 losses. I think Louisville will probably beat Pitt. Clemson will probably beat Pitt, although I hate
home.
that they lost. I hate that they lost Clemson because now it's like, they're gonna come out ready for Pitt for sure.
Well, they play Virginia Tech on the road this week, and that's not an easy place
Yeah.
to play. So you wonder if Pitt, maybe what I'm hoping is they just blow out. They're determined. They're focused on this game. Let's win this week.
Against Virginia,
and
and that's
just blow them out.
Listen, anybody in this ACC, which is weaker, anyone can beat anyone. Virginia's really, they're not a good team, but they've had some good games. Like they hung in there really well with Louisville, which is we know that's a good team.
Yeah.
They hung in there with Clemson for a time, and the Clemson kind of pulled away. So I don't think Virginia is a guarantee. They can't come out flat. They can't, they have to come out focused this week. They can't be like, oh, we got blown out. We're kind of feeling down. Oh, we got Clemson next week. This is an under the lights game. And you have to realize ACC Network.
Yep.
You have to
I'll be in attendance.
Of course, he's
Yep,
always
I'll
there.
always be in attendance. So say hi if you see me.
Say hi
You
to
have
Jake
to
Bell.
realize, this is an if you want to get to 9 wins, which is after 6-0 start, you should. With them, like I said, after they start off 6-0, I said if you can go 3-3 the rest of the way, it's a victory for Pitt. So if you want to get to 9 wins, this is a must-win game to have a successful season and to get a decent bowl game, which with a 6-0 start for a team that is overachieving, right? You want to get to 9 wins and get a really good bowl game. So this is a very important game for Pitt this week, and I hope that Narduzzi has them ready. I think last week they were extremely fired up, but to the point where they were over-fired up. And that's sometimes the problem with Narduzzi. You saw it from the first drive of the game. Was it Battle, I think? He's trying to throw the guy down instead of just wrap up and make the tackle. It cost us 25 yards, And then once Ben Sauls missed that extra point or that field goal, it was like, okay, this game's not going well. Ben Sauls is missing kicks.
Yeah.
The world is upside down right now.
I have a feeling that Pitt's going to win the rest of their home games and lose their road games. I don't know why. I have a feeling they're going to beat Virginia by a decent bit. They're going to come out, barely beat Clemson, get fired up. They're going to drop one to Louisville, and then Boston College for some reason, other than last year somehow, they don't.
They've
know how
always
to be against
bullied
them.
us.
Yeah,
Don't you feel like we've always lost?
Remember that game a couple years ago?
They missed the extra point.
And we went to overtime against Boston.
And they
that was
missed
2020, right?
Wasn't that?
Yeah,
they missed the extra point. We missed the extra point.
Kessman, he would make a 55-yard, but can't make an extra point.
Yeah,
it was just
Kessman.
frustrating. At least Ben Sauls, even though he missed the one against SMU, he's the best kicker I've probably seen at Pitt.
He's been awesome.
Yeah.
But about that SMU game, we saw that. We all saw that. Things have just gone so right for Pitt. The balls just bounced their way.
Yeah.
And they were just bound for everything to go bad for them.
And everything
went wrong. And SMU is a good football team. I don't think they're 13th in the country good, but they dominated a ranked team, so they deserve the ranking they have.
Yeah. Well, and if they just take care of business,
they're going to be in the ACC championship.
They're going to be in the playoff because if they're 11-2, and you barely lose to Miami or something. They're gonna be in the playoff,
Well,
and they have the tiebreaker over Pitt too.
Here's
with
the thing:
ACC.
is there a? Do you think there's a? I think there could be a possibility. I just don't know how the 12-team playoff is gonna look, and how by the end of this, it's not right in my head.
Well, there's a lot that still needs to unfold because, like I mentioned before, there's always two lost SEC teams.
Do you guys think that the ACC is gonna produce 2 teams in the top 12?
I think it depends on how good the second team is. If they're up to 11 wins by the time, I think there's no reason why they shouldn't be, especially
because SMU has this cupcake schedule, right?
Yeah.
So if they win the rest of their next, they have 3 more games left.
Yeah.
I don't know who they play, but
I'll pull it up real quick.
What's the
you
are
go
they
11-1
right now? 8-1. That's what I thought.
You play Miami in the championship game. And then the loser of that game still gets to go. Because Louisville and Clemson are good teams, but Louisville has 3 losses. Clemson could sneak in, but they probably need someone to lose, right? I would assume. But yeah, that was an embarrassing loss. There were some embarrassing losses last week for a lot of different teams. Clemson, Penn State,
Iowa State
Pitt,
dropped there first.
Iowa State
Kansas
lost
State.
to Kansas State lost to Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were controlling the game, and then they just let Houston somehow back in the game, look like an offensive juggernaut.
Yeah, I guess that's why they're ranked below Pitt. I mean, they lost to Houston. I mean, that's a bad loss.
SMU's last 3 games: at home against Boston College, at Virginia, at home against Cal.
What was their first one?
At home against Boston College.
Okay.
So, barring anything just ridiculous, SMU's going to be 11-1.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get 2 in. Now, before last week, I was thinking it would be 3 because Clemson too. But Clemson, with the way they were playing right now, that loss,
losing at Georgia is understandable. I get losing to Louisville, but the way they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
They got dominated at home.
Yeah.
In what is it called? What do they call it?
Death Valley.
Is it Death Valley? Okay, I said that right.
Yeah, there's Clemson Death Valley. There's the LSU Death Valley. We're not sure which one's more deathly.
Where's what is more death? Yeah. Yeah. What were we talking about? Let's talk about Penn State. Let's get off the misery of Pitt. And deflect.
Go to the misery of Penn State.
And smile at the pain of Penn State and all their fans and their glorious 111,000. They saw witness a beatdown, a line of scrimmage beatdown.
Yeah.
As we've seen Michigan go in there, dominate the line of scrimmage in the past, and Ohio State did the same thing. Now, Ohio State. Let's be honest about Ohio State, okay? As my friend Nathan Schivins would say, let's be honest.
Let's be honest here.
They're not extremely impressive to me. Will Howard, they were like, oh, he's such a big upgrade over Kyle McCord. I mean, is he though? I mean, they really didn't he didn't look all that great. He did, to his credit, he did respond after the pick 6. But that was about the run game. And the games prior against Nebraska, they had trouble running the ball, and they got that going. But I mean, Penn State just showed, they're a good team, but when they're kind of like the Cowboys of college football. Like when they get in these big games, they're gonna beat the teams they're supposed to beat. But when they get in these big games, it's like they kind of show they're just not elite. They're not top.
Below.
They're a tier below. Yeah.
And
they'll probably still win a playoff game, maybe, but I don't know.
It just seems like they don't trust the quarterback that has been projected to be in the first round. I mean, I know how good of running backs Nicholas, Singleton, and Allen are. I feel like you gotta trust Drew Aller at some point. Like, if he's this hyped up guy, and they're like, oh, we're not gonna make him do too much. You have to win. You have to win in the air if you're in college football nowadays. I mean, I know how important the running game is, but you have to have a quarterback that can do a lot. I mean, you see how much Cam Ward has elevated that Miami program. They already have 2 more wins than last year. So, it's just you got to trust your quarterback at some point.
I mean, that's a good point.
13 points against Ohio State's not going to cut it.
And 7 of them were the pick 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Really.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, he threw 20 times, ran 10 times. So what does that tell you? He's running out of the pocket, not making reads, or the O-line. I think it was just – I just feel like he's not truly developed yet. Some guys take longer in college than others. I mean, he's a true sophomore. You know what I mean?
He's a redshirt sophomore.
Redshirt sophomore.
Yep. So he's eligible if he wants to leave, which I think he should stay.
I mean, he's shown a lot of talent, the arm talent, but obviously he needs time to develop. And I don't know, Penn State, they are run the ball. They've never really been dynamic with their play calling, and their development of quarterbacks. So, I mean, they had Trace McSorley. That was their one success, and he was not even that great. Sean Clifford, not really that good.
He's still with the Packers? Where he was with the Packers?
And I think that guy, James Franklin is just kind of like, he's a defensive guy, right? I'm pretty sure. Is he an offensive guy? No, he's a defensive guy.
I don't know.
I think but anyway, I mean, they're just not super. Even if you look at Pitt's offense and how they run, it's like there's just not a lot of explosiveness. There just hasn't been. I think that also goes to the receivers as well.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they have no receiving talent. I'm just being fair.
They rely on that tight end. Much.
Their tight end is just.
You know who their leading receiver was last week? Their running
Nicholas
back.
Singleton.
With Singleton.
Singleton, 6 catches for 45 yards, and then Tyler Warren, 4 catches for 40. So Yeah, you could
Yeah.
say, oh, the quarterback isn't developed, which I think we can agree with. But I think there's talent there, and I think he needs more help. You got to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
James Franklin's going around the state on helicopters. Get some receivers,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
get some receivers.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's got to be, I mean, like you said, every year you know what you're going to get from Penn State. They're going to go 10-2. This year they're
Yeah.
going to go 11-1 because the mighty Big Ten.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about the Big
mean,
Ten.
It's top heavy.
There's like
Yeah.
5 good teams. Michigan is not,
Yeah.
anything. And then, there's the Purdue's, the Northwesterns, Rutgers, UC. I mean, there are teams like that rival ACC teams at the
Yeah.
bottom. So it's not anywhere near the SEC right now either, which I'd like to see more parity among these conferences. I'd like to see the ACC and these conferences compete with the SEC, but it's just unlikely. But
Yeah.
So do you? Here's the one thing I want to end with, because I think the rankings, they're pretty fair. I would say Indiana and BYU. I don't know if we mentioned this, but yeah, they could be ranked a little higher, but I think they're right where they are, kind of in the middle, because they haven't had really a lot of big challenges yet. It's hard to put them above a Texas or even a
Right.
Penn State right now.
even though they've looked more impressive.
And
Yeah.
Boise
I think Indiana looks better than
But
Penn
but
State.
here's
And
the other
Tennessee.
here's the other thing. Boise State is at 12. So if it were to end right now, Boise State would be in. So does that mean if they win, what are they in the Mountain West?
yeah, they'd be.
They are in.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the
Um,
highest group of 5 teams in no matter what anyway. So
Oh, that's true. Okay.
they would be in. So, but that's interesting. So I was talking about this on my radio show. If they were like ranked 16th by the end, that means that the 12th ranked team at the end would not make the playoff.
Yeah.
Because they would be since the highest ranked group of 5 team gets in. If they're outside the top 12, then they're going to be in, and then the team that's 12, will not be in. So, and that would be the same if the
Is
Big
that like
12
a set rule?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well, it's the same for Power 4 winning. Or
Right.
if you win a Power 4, like if SMU wins the ACC, they're in.
Yeah, and they're
Right.
gonna, and they're gonna be a top 4 seed. So
Yeah.
so that's kind of weird about it. But yeah, Boise State, I think they deserve to be 12. I mean, they've looked dominant.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
this kid, because when you look at teams like Boise State, it's like there's just a bunch of no names, but they have a superstar, and I think that's going to appeal to the fans, and I think that's going to help them, have an advantage in these rankings possibly,
And they-
even if they somehow.
yeah.
Well, they have to win it. They have to
Yeah.
win there, but yeah.
Yeah, and they barely. And what's helping them too is they barely lost at Oregon, the number
Yeah.
1 team now,
Wow.
and that's their only loss, obviously. So
How about Oregon? I feel like no
Yeah.
one's talking about them, but
yeah,
that's the best team in college football
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
on paper. So
right now, I mean, now for me, I thought in that Ohio State Oregon game, I thought Oregon played really well. I still come away from that game saying Ohio State's the better team because
Yeah.
they went on the road in that crazy environment, and if Will Howard doesn't make a boneheaded decision, have a chance to kick a field goal for the win.
Right.
yeah.
So, but all credit to Oregon, and they've just been steamrolling opponents. They went to Michigan and just,
Yeah.
just
It's-
bullied
I just
them.
feel like Ohio State should have dominated that Penn State game a little more than they did. But when you go into that, at the same time, when you go into that environment,
Yeah.
and dominate, and I'm sorry, when you go into that environment and still win,
Yeah.
it's tough. I mean, that's still an impressive win. You're not going to always dominate Penn State with 111,000
Yeah, hang the
fans.
banner, hang the banner. We lost. We had no offense, but we got 111,000, a program record.
Program record, hang the banner.
well, I think that's a good place to end with
Yeah.
college
Yeah.
football. Why don't we get into the NFL trade deadline? Steelers
Yeah.
probably made the most moves I've seen since I've been watching football because usually
Yes.
they're not a team that goes off in the deadline. But this year, it's a new Steelers team. It's a new way of thinking. So what do you guys have to think about that?
Well, we knew they were going to get a receiver, or else there would have been a riot on Art Rooney Avenue.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been saying how we need we're gonna get a receiver. We're saying that we're in for this person. Up, he goes somewhere else, or he stays. Brandon Ayuk, Devontae Adams, blah blah blah. It's been going on and on. The rumors. They were gonna get what's his name? Christian Kirk, and then he broke his collarbone.
I remember that.
And so Mike Williams, I think, out of the options they had, is the most talented.
Mm-hmm.
And to only get him for a fifth, I think that's a fair deal. I think the Jets, the fifth round pick is valuable.
Yeah.
I think it's a good deal. Rodgers, if a guy screws up like Williams kind of did a couple times in that what game was that? The Bills game. It's like Rodgers is done with you. He has Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
They don't need Mike Williams anymore. Although if they lose Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard is on IR, and who else are they? Someone else.
Yeah, they're missing
Garrett Wilson they have,
But
like,
I'm talking. I don't know. Maybe. Well, yeah. I guess it's just the fact that Alan Lazard's on IR. Now you get rid of Mike Williams.
yeah,
You're relying on Adams and Wilson to stay healthy.
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm sure. Knowing the Jets, something might go wrong there.
yeah.
But Mike Williams, I think, is the most talented. I think he fits what Russ is best at, which is the 50-50 jump balls, right?
Yeah.
With Mike Williams' frame, he's going to be good at that, you would think, right? And he hasn't looked. I mean, he's had some bad drops with the Jets. He hasn't quite looked, but he was on the Jets.
Yeah, he seems happier now from the pictures. So
I mean, I think Mike Williams he was having a good year last year before he tore his ACL. I think now that he's with a confident organization, not a prickly quarterback, a guy who's a good teammate and a good guy like Russell Wilson, I think he's gonna perform. Now, I do think that the Steelers probably could have used more of a route runner than Mike Williams.
I do agree with that.
Like maybe like an Adam Thielen would have been a little bit of a better fit in what they needed. But I think Mike Williams is the most talented and is the best outside receiver that they probably could have got, because he is an outside receiver. But I feel like they need someone for those, someone to put in the slot. But I think what we're finding out though is that they really like Calvin Austin and what he's doing. I mean, we saw the game he put up last week, and Van Jefferson is stepped up a little bit. He's Van Jefferson, but the fact that he's going to be a 3 or a 4, that's a good thing now. And I think Austin being that slot guy could really end up working out.
I think Calvin Austin earned the right to be the third receiver after he's been playing recently. But yeah, Mike Williams, I mean, people forget that he was a 1,000-yard receiver not long ago. And everyone's going to be like, oh, Justin Herbert. It's like, still got to be pretty good to have 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
And I know
with Keenan Allen on the other side.
Yeah, and I know that he is, I mean, he's like a poor man's George Pickens at this point in his career. And I do agree that maybe we should have gotten some of that. Not was like Deontay Johnson, but like you said, a good route runner that could help George Pickens get even more open. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're getting two receivers that have had 1,000-yard seasons under their belt very recently.
And you have insurance if something were to happen to Pickens.
Yeah.
You don't go into a game with, a Sisters of the Poor receiving core.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have Mike Williams to kind of maybe pick up the slack. I mean, it wouldn't be good if Pickens went down, but yeah.
No, I think that's a great point about Mike Williams. He is not, some pushover receiver.
Right.
When he was with Phillip Rivers before, and then with Herbert, obviously, he was a guy when he stayed healthy that would get 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah.
The question is health, obviously, and now that he's getting older, he's off the ACL already, and that's the question with basically every wide receiver the Steelers are looking at. Adam Thielen too, he has some major health concerns, and in age, he's up there in age as well.
Adam Thielen's like what, 34, 35 now?
Yeah.
I'd say so, yeah. Like
I'd
earlier than his early 30s.
Yeah.
And I think there's a chance, if it really works out with Mike Williams, he might want to stay here. We see that all the time. Players love Tomlin. They want to stay here. We could keep him for another year or two, possibly.
Yeah.
But that's a big. We have to see how things
we'll
work out.
see how it plays out. But I'm just wondering, and I agree about Calvin Austin. He's done really wonders for this. I did not expect him to have some. He does. He has like games where he gets.
Look at his special teams.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just catching the ball, having someone reliable. Knock on wood. This isn't wood, but I don't know. Anyway, but just being that reliable special teams guy. I mean, look, we had Gunnar Olszewski last year for a time. I'll never forget that play against the Browns where he toe tapped.
Yeah.
Was it a kickoff or a punt? I think it was a kickoff that was going out of bounds.
Yeah. And he saved it from.
and then he returns one as a Giant, like literally right after we cut him. So it's like
he was the worst.
Yeah, and but yeah, Calvin Austin. Now you'd like to see him be more consistent a little bit, because he'll have the game where he goes for 110, and he'll get a kick return touchdown.
Yeah.
But then he'll also have the game where he gets one reception for 10 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing with George Pickens also, just getting these guys more consistent. And I think when they get older and more developed and everything and get more rapport with Russell Wilson, that'll happen. But I'm just wondering if Roman Wilson's gonna be back at some point.
Yeah, you
They
can't
just-
forget about
They
it.
just
because-
put him on IR too. Yeah, like
I know, but
Yeah.
like remember before the year they were like, oh, he might be ready for week 1, and then it's like he's not gonna be ready.
Yeah.
But then every week
and then it
it's
was like
he's not.
he's
out.
back, and then he never played. And he's
Right.
on IR again.
Yeah.
We don't know what that
So-
situation.
But if you get him back, and like week 14, week
Yeah.
13, and he has a few weeks to develop kind of chemistry with Russell Wilson.
Because we don't know how good Calvin Austin really is. I mean, he hasn't had like a really great receiving game yet, but it seems like that rapport is slowly growing. So we'll see how that goes. But
Yeah.
Roman Wilson, I mean, he obviously is out of college as a much better prospect than what Calvin Austin was.
Right.
Yeah.
But Calvin Austin was a beast at Memphis. I mean, he
He
was
was.
like,
Yeah.
Memphis, they have like weird good skill position players like Calvin Austin, Tony Pollard, Antonio Gibson,
Oh,
Daryl
wow.
Henderson. Like they have these.
They have a good offense every
Yeah.
year anyway. This year's no different, but
And I can't forget about Paxton Lynch too.
Paxton
So-
Lynch, Broncos legend.
Wait, didn't Paxton Lynch go to Cal?
That was Jared Goff in that draft class.
Cal quarterbacks too, Aaron Rodgers
Yeah.
and Jared Goff.
Yep.
That's true. Wow.
Some of
Yeah, I
these, like,
guess Cal
obscure
does have
teams.
something.
Yeah. Yep.
Some of these like
I
obscure
forgot
teams.
Rogers went to Cal.
Yeah, that
Wait,
that first round draft
coulda
class
swore
was Jared
Paxton
Goff,
Lynch
Carson
went to-
Wentz, and Paxton Lynch. But Lynch, he was Memphis.
But unfortunately we're gonna get into the Bengals and Ravens game, but that game, should have probably went in the Bengals' favor, and it was just a crushing loss for them. But so now with the Ravens 7-3, this is a big game this weekend for the
It
Steelers.
is.
But we'll
Yep.
see how big of an impact Mike Williams and Preston Smith
Oh yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about Preston Smith.
could have.
We got to talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah, we
Preston
do.
Smith.
Yeah.
I want to know what your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean it's a depth move. I mean, I think with the questionable health sometimes of like Highsmith's been out a little bit this year already. Herbig's is he back? I think he might
I
be
don't
back.
know. I feel like I haven't
want to
seen him.
say yes.
I might be coming back against Washington, but it's good to have him kind of. And DeMarvin Leal's hurt right now, so just an extra guy in there. It's a 3-4 defense. He's coming from a 4-3, but he's more comfortable in the 3-4, and that's what he was with the Packers for all those years. Then they changed it up, and he requested a trade, so he should be more comfortable with the Steelers. It's been a down year for him. That's why the Steelers
Yeah,
were
I
able to
mean,
get him for
and the
low.
Packers are paying him way too much than what he's actually producing. And the Steelers, if they're going to keep him next year, he's under contract, but it's $12 million. They
Yeah.
can't pay him $12 million next
and
year
the Packers
for a depth piece.
The Packers
Right.
were probably thinking we're gonna cut him going into next year anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they probably want to start their first round pick, Luke Van Ness. I believe that's who it is. Their
Lucas
edge rusher.
Van Ness,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like, it makes sense. And I thought that he would cost a little more than Mike Williams just because he's just I don't know but like at the end of the day
because the
Yeah.
Steelers, they knew the Steelers were going to take up like $5 million of his
yeah.
contract.
And I didn't know
so-
his contract logistics at
Yeah.
the times, but then whenever I found out, I was like, oh, they're probably gonna cut him anyway. They're like 7th round pick. I mean, better than nothing.
He's an
So,
older
like,
pass rusher, probably not as good as what he was, but he still had 8 sacks last year. And
Yeah.
that's a good point about the fourth. I didn't even know that the 4-3-3-4 thing.
Yeah.
I
If
saw
you're
that
not on
yesterday
the
in an
field
article,
as
yeah.
much, how are you gonna?
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think they've put him in coverage before.
Yeah, they're
I've
not-
seen
Yeah.
that. It's like he's not.
Yeah.
He's a
That's not who
complete
he
pass
is.
rusher.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, if I thought the Steelers were going to get an additional piece, I thought maybe it would be, an offensive tackle
Right.
or another corner.
I thought
possibly.
defensive tackle. I thought we
or
were gonna grab
defensive
him.
tackle. An edge rusher. That was the last thing I think we would have got. But I respect the move for a 7th round pick.
Mhm.
Now you have a lethal. I mean, you talk about this could be the best pass rushing core in the league we've seen. Maybe, especially. I mean, definitely this year. But like in some years, I mean, Preston Smith would be starting on a lot of teams.
Right.
Herbig would be starting a lot of teams, and then you have Highsmith and Watt, and in the playoffs. Let's talk about the playoffs specifically. The best defense doesn't win championships in the NFL anymore, but a good pass rush to make these good quarterbacks you're going to face uncomfortable, especially down the stretch here during this upcoming schedule for the Steelers. If you have a good pass rush, that's going to make these good quarterbacks uncomfortable, right? And you got to give your secondary some time to work with. And Preston Smith, that's a four-headed monster right there. And when Watt and Highsmith are not on the field, It's like you don't have to feel like, oh, we have some dude I never heard of,
Right.
Rushing the passer. Who was it that we had? The one year I forget his name. Ah, crap.
Anthony Chickalo.
No, he won the game for the Steelers, because he did a unsportsmanlike conduct when he was with the Bears.
Oh, Connor Marsh.
Connor Marsh.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have Connor Marsh coming
I
off the
forgot
edge.
about that.
Yeah.
I completely forgot.
He was
about
like
that.
with us for a year or
Yeah,
something.
but like, and you could give Watt more rest. And then if something were to happen to Watt, yeah, the season would be like kind of distraught,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't feel completely, like the season is over because you have such good depth with the pass rush.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
Watt is something different. Though.
yeah, and they need that pass rush to get home because we're seeing it right now. The secondary has not been playing very well.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
it's thin.
Yeah.
You have the guys
Yeah.
you have. That's why I thought it would be nice for them to add a corner, because if somebody gets hurt, you're down to who knows who. Now they're getting Cam Sutton back,
right,
Yeah.
that's a big.
and it'll be interesting to see how he plays. And I think he could. I mean, I feel like that's kind of their trade deadline acquisition in a way, because you put him in the slot with Beanie Bishop, plus you have like an additional piece you can use on the outside if needed. I think that's huge.
Yeah,
If he can play like how we've seen him with the Steelers.
that's a great point. They really did make 3 trade deadline additions with Cam Sutton coming back, and he was really good with the Steelers, especially at the end there. And then he gets that big contract with Detroit.
Yeah.
But I know the Steelers were trying to keep him too because they valued his contract. He was a good player for the Steelers.
So I guess they didn't really need to get a corner. I kind of forgot about Cam Sutton.
Well, I mean, they're getting a corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But I forgot about that.
Right.
Sutton made losing Mike Hilton a little bit easier, like whenever we lost him to free
Right.
agency. So.
Yeah. Around the rest of the league, the only one other big thing that I remember happening, Marshawn Lattimore to the Steelers' opponent, Washington.
Yeah.
I think that is huge for Washington because they don't have anybody like that in the secondary. And that guy's a shutdown. And they got him real cheap too. What'd they give up?
I don't even remember.
It was like it was Marshawn Lattimore in a 5th for like a 4th or something. Something like that.
That's great.
There's some of these weird trades where like the Deontay Johnson one where I feel like teams are getting like the
Deontay
Panthers.
Johnson. Last night he fell on his face.
Yeah.
Did you see on that 3rd and 19?
I did see that.
That was so funny. The only other thing I want to mention, it just goes to show the incompetence of the Cowboys organization. I mean, the Steelers get Mike Williams for a 5th. The Raiders get Devontae Adams the Jets get Devontae Adams for like a 5th or whatever that was. And they gave up a 4th for Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never really heard. I mean, I've
Here, I'll
heard
look
the,
him
I've
up real
heard the
quick.
name.
And he
I've
had-
heard the name, but
Yeah.
I don't know him. I mean, he's never done anything. Obviously, he's on the Panthers, but to give up a 4th,
Right.
and if anything, the Cowboys should have been trading away pieces and getting draft capital.
right.
The Cowboys they haven't had a really good draft in a while. I feel like they haven't built. They don't have enough young players coming up. It's
Right,
just
Yeah.
like
Well, so it seems like the Panthers really nerfed his value.
good for the Panthers.
Yeah.
Good for the
Because
Panthers.
he
by
was
the
a
way.
very
What
high.
fleece.
He was a high 2nd round pick, like within the first 10 picks of the second
Still,
round.
but a 4th round
Yeah,
pick is valuable
for
for a
some-
guy who
yeah.
hasn't done anything.
Right. Yeah.
And that's because they don't have an offense.
And he had
but-
he had like 1 reception for 1 yard in like the last 4 games.
Yeah.
They
But
got-
also,
They got more for him.
Yeah.
Real quick. They got more
No,
for
you're
him than they got for Deontay Johnson. That's
Yeah.
like crazy to think
Yeah.
about.
but one trade deadline acquisition I wanted to talk about. I don't know how much of an impact he had if he played because I know it was so soon. But Tre'Davious White going to the Ravens, matching up, having him lining up with Marlon
I didn't even
Humphrey.
see that.
Yeah,
I was so
that's
busy
a-
with the
an
election,
amazing
I
move.
didn't see a lot of what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait,
I mean, a
who was he
former
with?
All-Pro.
He was on the
Bills.
Rams. Well, he was on the Rams this
Or
year.
he was. Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
because
Yeah, I
the Bills
forgot
got
the
rid
Bills
of
cut him. I
The
forgot
Rams
they cut him.
it just didn't work, and I saw
Yeah.
like they had like
Tre'Davious White. I mean,
He was a
unless he's
former
kind of
All-Pro.
washed now, I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
He's been battling a lot of
he
injuries.
had that
But if I'm the
ACL.
Ravens, I'm taking that risk any day. I mean,
and they
if
need
you,
corners.
if you
Did
get
he
him a
play
little
last
bit,
night?
I don't. It's because it was 2 days after the
Yeah, I
fact.
doubt
I'd
he played.
imagine not. But like,
Yeah, I mean, they're getting toast. I mean, you saw
Yeah.
that Jamar Chase play last night. I mean, wide open down the field.
yeah,
they
that
just
touchdown.
my fantasy team. I'm in shambles right now. Ryan Quinn. I'm in shambles. Yeah, I apologize for saying I was gonna
Wait,
beat you.
did you have Jamar Chase or
No,
was
Ryan had Jamar Chase.
Oh my
I was all
gosh.
confident. I was like, I'm gonna win this week against you, and I'm down by 55.
I've lost
already.
4. I mean, my fantasy season, I basically have to win out to even have a chance. But
Oh,
I
by
had
the way,
Burrow.
for Marshawn Lattimore, the Commanders actually gave up a lot. They gave up 3rd and 4th round picks.
Oh, okay.
In
That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a really legit
and a
shutdown
6th.
corner.
They gave up 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Oh, okay.
Or wait, no, 3rd, 4th, and 6th round picks.
Wow. That
For just Marshawn Lattimore, or did they get a
Yeah.
pick back as well? Only. Oh, maybe I saw that in another
they
trade.
had to have
Maybe I
gotten a
was wrong.
pick back though, don't you think?
They're talking about how they still have 7 picks in 2025. So they had like a ton of picks. They had 10 picks in the draft, so they were able to. So the Saints did good with
Wow.
that. Saints are a mess,
Yeah,
but
they are.
But I mean, he's a legit number 1. The Commanders in that NFC, they have a chance.
Yeah.
They really do, and they could be on the verge of being 8-2 after
Yeah.
this week.
yeah,
Well,
for sure.
I'm very excited to see how the Steelers do
That's an
against
interesting
Jaden
game.
Daniels. I think it'll be. It's a nerve-wracking game, but it's very. I mean, I think this sets the tone for the upcoming schedule, which is very tough.
right.
And if the Steelers can win 4 or 5 games, I think that's a win. You know, if they can go 4-5, 5-4 in this upcoming schedule, it's a win. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Well, speaking of schedule, why don't we go to our NFL picks?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Yep.
Yeah, last night, the Bengals. I was the only one to take the Bengals. They should have won.
They
They dominated most of the game, but once again, I want to talk about that game a little bit, real briefly before we get into picks. The Bengals defense actually was playing really well. They were up 21-7. Probably could have been up more. But the story of that game is they are completely Joe Burrow reliant.
Yeah.
I mean, they try to run the ball. Right? I think this Chase Brown kid has talent, but he's not like a legit 3-down back, I don't think. But they went cheap. They didn't want to pay Joe Mixon. And now they're completely Joe Burrow reliant. I mean, you're winning 80%. I saw someone say this. You're winning 80% of the game, and Joe Burrow has threw 57 times. I mean, they are completely Joe Burrow reliant, and Burrow has been incredible despite, how bad the Bengals defense is and how reliant they are on him and one-dimensional they are on offense. But, I mean, he's a top 5 quarterback, I think, easily, top 6.
Yeah, I agree.
But they're 4-6, and I think Burrow absolutely has a right to be frustrated. Jamar Chase absolutely has a right to be frustrated. I mean, that's 2 games against the Ravens they should have won. They should have at least won one of those games, and they should be. I mean, for them to be 4-6 is unacceptable, and I think that the ownership has to look themselves in the mirror, and I think Zach Taylor has to look himself in the mirror. I mean, why isn't the run game? I mean, I know they don't have Mixon, but why are we not? And in turn, that fumble is what started. You give them a touchdown at the 30 because Lamar gets the ball at the 30-yard line. Once you give Lamar an inch, now he's going to build that momentum on offense.
Yeah.
And then they give up that 80-yard touchdown. They missed the 10-yard out route, and they missed 3 tackles. I mean, and then all of a sudden it's a game. And Burrow did everything he could. I think the decision to go for 2 though was smart because I think Lamar would have went down and won the game.
Yeah.
And then even if you go to overtime, you're relying on a coin flip. We saw that in the Bucks game, right? I mean the refs missed 3 penalties on that play, but you can't blame the refs for you had a 21-7 lead. So the Bengals did break my heart. I don't know what your guys' thoughts were on that game. Seeing Lamar and Burrow. This is one of the new big, quarterback matchups in the league now, which I think is so awesome.
And now Lamar versus Russell Wilson, the biggest battles.
Yes.
This year, just for this year, probably.
Yeah.
The biggest battles in the NFL. But that was a wild game. Unfortunately, I was asleep for most of it.
I was too. I did not watch this. Unfortunately, I did not watch that.
But I woke up with 5 minutes left, so I was able to watch the end of it. But I was still in and out. But that was crazy. I do completely. I don't think it's on Zach Taylor. I think their ownership is awful. They don't spend money. They lost Joe Mixon. They did nothing to replace him. And they didn't really have a high opinion on Joe Mixon, but still.
I don't know how they couldn't have. I mean, the dude was there for years, even when they were bad, and produced every year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get that really, but okay.
Yeah, they just and he's been great with Houston so
Yeah.
far. But I don't blame Zach Taylor. I mean, they probably gotta. Their defense is awful, and their run game, it is what it is now because they didn't invest in it. I mean, what did you expect going into the season? I wouldn't put that on Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
And you have to go for 2 there because, like you mentioned, Peyton, the Ravens are gonna score. They're gonna score.
I mean, the Bengals defense. I mean, Lou Anamaramo or whatever his name is.
Amarillo.
I can't say his name
Right.
right now. And I'm an Italian. That I should be ashamed of myself. But he's a really good D coordinator. They don't spend. They're cheap.
Yeah.
The Bengals are cheap, and I feel bad for Joe Burrow. I mean, if he was on a much competent, better organization, I mean, he'd be. They should not be 4-6. But
Right.
I'm not completely sold on Zach Taylor, though. I will say that. I don't know. It's just like I think he's I feel like sometimes his play calling is a little bad, and his decision making. The play calling gets in the way of his decision making. I don't know, but anyway,
I don't think he's one of the better head coaches, but I don't think he's.
I don't. Yeah, you
Dennis
could say.
Allen.
To
I
say
mean,
he's
he-
the main reason.
He did make
they're
it to
bad.
the Super Bowl. Like
Yeah, they
some
made
yeah.
a
have to
Super
keep,
Bowl.
you know what I mean?
with it, Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. I don't know like how
So
great he
let's
is.
let's give it. Let's see. Let's judge. Let's see how the rest of this season
Right,
goes.
yeah.
If they make the playoffs, I think it's an accomplishment. I mean, they should make the playoffs, especially because the AFC is so top
I'm
heavy.
gonna pull up their schedule because I thought it was. I know they got the Steelers twice, obviously still.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they should probably win one of those
Right.
games with their offense.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
At
at
least.
the Chargers, which is gonna be tough. At the Cowboys, which that might be easy actually.
No, their season's over.
At
I mean,
the,
why are you buying a receiver when you know Dak's going to be on IR and you're 3 games under 500? You're giving up a fourth. Jerry Jones is just, I mean, he's really bad. I'm sorry. He's terrible.
does 9-8 get the last AFC wildcard?
I think it could. Because I think the AFC is just not as.
Because so if they win one against the Steelers, that's 5. They win at the Cowboys, that's 6. At the Titans, that's 7. At home against the Browns, that's 8. And at home against the Broncos, that's 9. But they
Broncos
could
isn't
lose.
an easy game.
That's
but
not an easy game.
I think they could beat the Chargers, though. I mean, yeah, I think it's possible.
Yeah, but they just have to. But it's just their defense.
They've had
is
so many
poor.
heart-wrenching losses.
Yeah.
It's like, how much more can they got to
Right.
have some luck at some point, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to these picks.
Let's do it.
So last week, Cashman, our good friend Cashman, again another outstanding week. He actually would have done better. He was 11-2 going into the primetime games, and he picked the Colts and the Bucks, and both those teams almost won.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he could have went with the obvious pick, so he would have been 13-2. Nathan Schivins, another good week, 11-4. I did solid myself, 10-5.
I was not good.
Jake
That
Bell.
was terrible. Yeah, terrible week for me.
I mean, he was lucky to even get 7 wins. He got the Vikings and the
Oh.
Chiefs at the end.
Yeah.
7-8 last week.
Yeah,
So
not
Jake
good.
Bell needs
Not
to
a good
respond.
performance. I do need to respond.
The standings still Cashman is still 2 games ahead of you, but Jake Bell has fallen behind after that bad week. Where are the standings here?
Still a lot of football though.
A lot of football left. Now I'm only 5 games out of 3rd place.
Oh, hang the banner.
Hang the banner. Hang the banner. So let's get put Jake Bell in the basement in a couple of weeks here. Let's put him in the bottom of the. Anyway.
I'm gonna respond big. We'll see how
He's
it
gonna
goes.
respond. There will
Yeah,
be a
I mean,
response.
Yeah, even though it's not in my control, but I'll respond.
I got the games pulled up. We go through
Yeah,
them.
who's doing? Yeah.
We'll start with the. Let's get this one out of the way. Giants versus the Panthers.
Those poor people in London. I feel
No,
it's
it's
awful.
in Germany. It's in Munich.
I thought it was in London.
This one's in Germany. The Munich
Oh,
game.
the Germans.
Yeah,
What
I
a
mean-
shame.
What a shame. They get. What do you mean? What a shame. They're gonna be able to.
Yeah, no,
see
they get
an
the treat of
absolute-
seeing Danny Dimes live. How could you not
I am
be
actually.
entertained?
I'm really intrigued with this game because I've never seen Bryce Young. I've never
Yeah.
watched a Panthers game with Bryce Young, so I do want to watch and see how Bryce Young performs. Because
I mean, they beat the Saints,
Yeah.
got Dennis Allen
he was like-
fired. Hang the banner.
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Dennis Allen
they got 2
fired.
wins now.
Oh man.
But I don't. He still didn't play great though. In that game. I'm really rooting for him. I hope he has a good game. What do we think about the Giants? And the Giants are on mine. They're 6.5-point favorites.
I'm taking the Giants.
Giants by 2 scores.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got the Giants as well, but I hope the Panthers keep it close.
Yeah,
I hope
it's
Bryce
just
Young has a good
I don't
game.
think Bryce Young has 2 wins in a row.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would like him to, but I just don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
So we
for
all
sure.
have the Giants. Let's see. Cashman got his picks into us. Hopefully we'll have him on the show again soon. Yeah, so we all have the Giants. London favorites, although it's actually not in London, but like overseas favorites are like
Yeah.
great against the spread and just winning in general
Right.
for some reason. So I feel like that line is a bit too high. They're 6.5 point
it is kinda
favorites.
high.
Yeah.
But the Panthers have like no receivers now. I don't know. This is
I think Danny. The thing is, Danny Dimes and Dable need to win this game.
yeah.
You know, or the New York media is going to be. I mean, the New York media is already after them. But
Yeah.
anyway, next game.
You want to go Steelers Commanders?
Can we push that game
Okay.
towards the end?
Yeah.
Because that's a we want to if you want to see Steelers talk of Steelers Commanders, you got to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to watch more of the video.
Watch for our insight on these other games, which we are, as you can see, me and Cashman are just no doubt
Top tier.
Top tier. Nobody's
Never
better.
a doubt.
Never in doubt. But okay, we'll go to a surprising AFC West game in terms of one of the teams, the Broncos, and but I think both of them because the Chiefs are somehow 8-0, and that game is in Kansas City. What are we thinking in that one? Chiefs.
So Broncos at Chiefs.
Broncos at the Chiefs.
The Chiefs are 7.5 point favorites. I'm going with Denver.
Honestly.
Oh, I was thinking about it.
I am too. In my mind, I'm like, you know what? Chiefs are bound to lose. It's a divisional game. I know it doesn't seem like it because they're going to be an Arrowhead, but Chiefs are going to drop this one. I'm going Broncos.
All right.
I mean, yeah, we're taking the L.
All
Me
right.
and Jake
Yeah,
Bell.
we are.
Well, I'm gonna
This
save
This is
you
why
guys.
we're at the
I'm gonna
bottom.
save you
We're
guys.
behind you guys because we take these kind of
Well,
games.
I was thinking about it too, but I'm gonna save you guys because I'll pick the Chiefs. But I think it is. They're not gonna. It's gonna be close
Yeah.
for sure because the Chiefs aren't blowing anybody out, and the Broncos just got absolutely destroyed
Right.
by the Ravens. They're not gonna do that again. Sean Payton, he can't let that happen again, can he? I don't think. And they've just,
If
they've
this
just played
game was
poorly.
at Denver, I'd feel a lot more comfortable though with this pick.
Yeah.
But
What's Cashman?
what's Cashman have?
He has the Broncos. Oh my gosh.
Now he has the Chiefs.
All right. Another one with a weird line. Vikings at the Jaguars. So this opened up like Minnesota -4.5, which I already thought was a little bit high. I thought it might be like Vikings -3.5. Now it's up to Vikings like -7, -7.5.
Well, Trevor Lawrence isn't gonna play.
Oh, he's not.
Mm-mm.
That's
It's
why.
Doubtful.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Okay, that's good because on my radio show yesterday, I almost picked the Jaguars. again.
McCormick Jones, or what's his real name?
Mac and Cheese Jones.
No. Mac stands for something. But he's gonna be
Macaroni
getting the
Jones.
start.
Wait, who's this?
Macaroni. Mac
Mac
Jones.
Oh, Mac. Oh, I thought
Macaroni
you said
Jones.
Max. I was like, wait, who's? Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going with Vikings.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from Macaroni Jones. So
I thought that was like just somebody I'd never heard of. I thought you
Yeah.
said McCormick Jones or something. I was like,
I assume like Mackenzie or I know that's like a girl name, but there's guys named Mackenzie.
Wait.
I think that could be the case.
what is Mac Jones' real name? No, not Mike Jones. Michael McCorkle Jones. So it's Michael.
McCorkle. No,
But
it's
that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. McCorkle Jones.
You were thinking McCorkle?
I think
How were you
so.
thinking that?
Mc-
I've never heard that name before. Shout out to.
So
Mac
we have
Jones.
the Vikings. The Vikings.
Vikings dropped this one somehow. The week I don't pick the Jaguars. With
I
the
mean, I
Mac
feel like
Jones.
Trevor Lawrence. Mike Jones could have like a good game. I feel like. I think it's possible.
Oddly enough,
I
yeah.
honestly think it's because I feel like Trevor Lawrence just hasn't they haven't.
Well, he's been better recently. He's been.
Yeah, but it just
Their
hasn't.
defense is just really bad.
I feel like Mac Jones could actually provide a spark.
Wouldn't that be something?
I honestly think.
That's a crazy sentence.
I honestly think
That's
he
an
could.
insane-
But I love my
I
Vikings.
mean, he is.
You love
I
your
mean, the
Vikings.
Jaguars literally have 2 national championship quarterbacks. on
Yeah,
their
they
team.
do.
So like, I don't
And
know.
they're gonna
we'll
win
see.
5 games.
Yeah.
All right. So are we going Vikings? Cashman, is he going Vikings too? I assume.
I gotta add this. I keep going back and forth. This is the problem.
It's an issue.
It's
Explain
an
it.
issue. No. Yeah, the Vikings. We all have the Vikings.
All right.
All right.
Skull Vikings.
What
Skull.
does he have in Falcons versus the Saints? We'll just put his in quick.
Falcons.
So you got the Falcons. That line is kind of weird. Atlanta's only 3.5-point favorites.
They're
After
on the
Saints-
road though.
I know, but after the Saints fired their coach and they lost to the Panthers. Now Kyle Pitts is questionable, and Drake London is kind of he might be questionable as well. But where are we going with that game?
I don't know, man.
I really want to go Saints, but I'm
Me
not.
too.
I'm going Falcons.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the safer, but like
Yeah, but like I don't like it. It just depends if the Falcons are really competent this year. Like if this was like the Jets or something, I'd be like, yeah, Saints after firing their coach, that would be the typical Jets loss. And it would be the typical Pitt loss too.
Who's their
unfortunately,
interim? Do we know? The Saints
but-
interim.
Rizzy, Darren Rizzy, I think his name
Rizzy.
is. Darren Rizzy, I
he's
think,
gonna
right?
riz the team up.
Yeah, I think that's who it is.
He's
Hold
gonna
up.
riz
If
the
the
team.
Saints win this week, Darren Rizzy's gonna be the biggest meme of all time.
Yep, Darren Rizzy.
Is it Rizzy?
Let me take a look at him.
Rizzi.
Let me take a look at him.
Rizzy.
Oh, that guy, he's no NFL coach. Give me the Falcons.
He's gonna riz the team.
That guy,
It's
look
just
at
one
that
long
guy's
look.
face. Give me a break.
Yeah,
He's
let me see,
look at him. He looks
Oh, he
incompetent.
looks-
Doesn't he look
Oh,
incompetent?
look, the other picture.
He's very
the
he
one
likes
picture,
to
nah,
yell.
I think he
so.
might be. Oh, my phone's. Oh no. Oh no.
Are we all going with the
My
Falcons?
phone's acting up.
Yeah.
All right. The next one was 49ers, who are getting Christian McCaffrey back, at the Buccaneers.
This is actually
Oh yeah.
tough.
Okay. Now I'm gonna.
Dude, the Bucks.
Now I'm gonna get in front of this. I'm taking Tampa to win this game.
This could go either way, but give me the Niners.
I also am
don't
going to
thi-
take the 49ers because Tampa Bay should have won last week. I mean, that was their game to win. I feel
But
like.
it's a big game for both teams, but it's
It
a
is.
must-win for Tampa because if they lose this, they're completely out of the NFC
Yeah.
South.
What's their record?
4-5 now. They're 2 games
Yeah.
behind.
4-6. I think they could still make the playoffs with 4-6. I think because their
No.
schedule has to be getting easier, right?
No, because the NFC North.
They still got to play Carolina.
Yeah, but the NFC
You know.
North. That's the 3 teams. The NFC East gonna get 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would go Tampa here too, but I think Christian McCaffrey is such a big impact, more than people think. And I think he's going to have a really good game this
How
week.
many reps is he? How much is he gonna be in the game? I don't know how much he's gonna be in. They might be like.
I think he's going to
limiting
be in. He better be in because he was my number one pick in fantasy. I've held on to him for all this time. San Francisco.
That's why you never pick the guy that's guaranteed to be number one, because they always get hurt or underperform.
That's why you do. I got crapped on for this, taking Lamar Jackson first overall with my first pick, but he's doing wonders for me.
Wait, Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I took Lamar. I took
quarterback.
He's in the
Interesting.
QB1.
He is the QB1.
He is. I know. That's why I picked him. Everybody was giving me crap.
But honestly, people should have been taking CeeDee Lamb or Jamar Chase. if
So
we're being real.
everyone's on the 49ers except Nate, but I like the pick, Nate. I like the pick,
because
buddy.
they have to win one of these games.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But the
I mean,
Niners
they
have
lost
to
in
win
heart.
some of
They're
these-
kind of like the Bungles, except obviously they don't have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. It's like the defense stinks,
Yeah.
but they keep losing. Baker keeps putting
Yeah.
these Baker's been unbelievable, even with no
Baker, yeah.
Evans or Godwin.
Yeah.
And
He truly, you could tell he's prepared. Like he's truly
Yeah.
prepared. It's such a cool thing to see.
He's playing well, but he's playing a little dangerous too.
He
had
is,
a
yeah.
couple of
He's
these.
feeling dangerous.
he's
Woke up
feeling
dangerous.
He's always that's-
dangerous.
Yeah, it's a good Baker when he's playing like that. But yeah, I just think, and they're so depleted wide receiver though. But I just feel like, I don't know. But I feel like the 49ers aren't gonna lose another game like
Yeah.
this too. So it's interesting. Bills at the Colts. This is another one where I was tempted to take the home underdog.
Where is that game at?
It's at 1 o'clock.
I'm trying to Bills at the Colts. Oh, interesting.
I'm already taking the Bills.
You're taking the Bills.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Bills also. But I was thinking about the Colts because they're a better team than 4-5.
Yeah. It just shows how the
Yeah.
NFL anyone can win
Yeah.
because it's professional football.
And then 4-6. That could be. There could be. We're gonna get to the Jets too, but I think there could be several 4-6 teams
Yeah.
that are gonna be trying to vie with the Broncos, who might be 5-5 for that last wild card spot, because I think 6 of them are already guaranteed with the Chargers also.
Give me the Colts, baby.
Uh-oh. Who's going to be starting that game? Is it going to be Flacco?
It's
again?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Flacco's.
Joe
Okay.
Flacco. He had. It wasn't great last week. Let's be honest, but he's gonna bounce
But
back.
I
Who would've
mean,
thought?
It's
Joe
Joe
I
Flacco?
mean, here's the thing.
It's Joe
Brian
Flacco.
Flores is these. I mean, he's confused the best of quarterbacks this year, and he kind of just got. But Joe Flacco's pretty good. I mean, he's decent. You would
Yeah.
think so. And the Bills' defense isn't as. I mean, they don't have anyone like Brian Flores. I'm sorry, Sean McDermott is a bit overrated. Their defense is not as talented as some people think. Give me the Colts.
Well, you look at their roster. It's not much different than any very mediocre team.
Right.
But they have Josh Allen.
Yeah. I mean, getting a guy that has gone through so much adversity and is now really good, it's so tough to. It's so
The
tough.
Colts
to defend
defense
against.
played very good last week against
They did.
Minnesota,
They
They
held
did.
in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
They hung in there for a while.
and they're at home. I
was
like.
thinking about it. I was really. I might
Well,
have
you
the
took the
wrong-
Bucks, so
might
that
have-
was your.
Yeah, I might have another one though. No, probably not actually. Never mind. Oh yeah, actually I do. But
Where we at?
next one, when I ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Who did Cashman? He could take the Bills.
He took the Bills.
Patriots at the Bears. Bears gotta win this game, don't they?
Yeah.
They
I'm
gotta
taking
win
Bears.
this game. They've got embarrassed. They
Yeah.
lost both those. They were riding high at 4-2, and then they lost both those
Yeah.
road games.
Patriots are going to
Who did
realize.
the Patriots play last week?
Mason Rudolph.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
lost in overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drake May played with that crazy play. at
Well,
the end.
I'm a Bears guy, so of course I'm going to take the Bears.
Bears.
I'm
Yeah.
the Bears.
But this is a
I'm
game they
taking
lose.
the Bears too, by the way.
This is a game they kind of lose usually, just as the Bears.
Yeah.
If they do lose, I think Eberflus his seat is really, really high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just go. I don't know if I don't think they'd fire him in mid-season, but I think the Bears could still make the playoffs. I know Caleb Williams isn't looked great lately, but I think they need an offensive coach. They really do. Caleb's
Yeah.
still going to have his games against these bad teams.
And the offensive line is just not performing.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's really bad. I mean,
yeah.
he's getting knocked around.
And I'm not the biggest. I was.
So we're all taking the
I'm
Bears.
tooting my own horn here because I like Jaden Daniels more than Caleb Williams out of college, and all the antics and everything too. But
Yeah.
but I think Caleb is still really good. But you're not helping your rookie quarterback
Yeah.
out with
No.
the defensive coach and an offensive.
I mean,
line
look at the
atrocious.
coaches that we saw it in the game. The game those two teams played. I mean, Washington just has the better coaching
Yeah.
staff. They just
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Cliff Kingsbury's been awesome.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys like Steve Spagnuolo that's like a coordinator. You
Right,
know?
right.
He's where he's at. He's best as a coordinator, and he's where he could be one of the better offensive.
I think
coordinators.
Kingsbury could get another chance at a job though, but I don't know if I just
I
feel like
just don't
he's
think
too
he's a
laid
head
back.
coach.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
too laid back.
He's much better suited as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He's not a head coach.
But he might get it. I'm just saying he might get
Oh,
another
for sure.
opportunity.
Yeah, teams are definitely going to look into him for sure.
Because he wasn't at Texas Tech. He had Mahomes for a while, and he was very mediocre.
Yeah.
And obviously with Arizona,
It's just the Big 12 defense. It just
the
did
Big
not
12
exist
in
at
the
that time.
mid 2010s
Yeah.
was just a offensive
Yeah.
fireworks show. I mean, defense was completely optional.
Yeah.
All right. What did Cashman? Did he take the Bears?
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going into the 4:00 games. Titans at the Chargers.
Chargers.
Yeah.
100%.
Titans got their win.
Yeah.
Charge.
I always like hearing that during the Chargers games when they play that.
They play that at the Steelers games though too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
I never
funny.
heard that actually. Yeah, Chargers.
You have the Chargers.
I do have the
Okay.
Chargers, yep.
I hope Mason Rudolph plays well though. Obviously.
Yeah,
Rooting
yeah,
for Rudolph.
of course.
He doesn't get going until Christmas time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been all right.
Yeah, I mean, but the Titans are just a bad team.
Yeah.
I mean, their defense has, for some reason, gotten progressively worse.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
Cashman had the Chargers, I assume.
Yeah.
No upset there.
Yeah.
Okay, now this game, I said this on a radio show too. I got burned when I said Bengals Ravens the first time lost its luster. This one has lost its luster. Eagles versus the Cowboys. Okay.
Well, automatically, it's the luster is coming back now. I mean, automatic.
Now that I say
Yeah.
that, because the Cowboys. But Cooper Rush is gonna have like a 350-yard performance.
I think Cooper Rush is a pretty decent backup.
He is.
He is.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the Cowboys are at home. They're
Didn't-
7.5-point dogs.
Didn't Cooper Rush upset Oklahoma State whenever he was with Central
Where do you go
Michigan?
to? Where do you go to?
Central
Okay,
Michigan.
I wouldn't-
I could be
didn't
wrong, but
remember.
I don't know. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
Yeah.
no. Please, I interrupt you guys all the
Some
time.
of these MAC players are really good. Like
Yeah.
Max.
Mac
Eastern
is built
Michigan
different.
has some. Eastern Michigan, like, which is never a good football team.
So, Mac
Yeah.
Week.
Has,
What
like,
do they
Max
call it?
Crosby.
Mac Week.
Yeah.
Maction.
Maction.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
that's what I was
obviously,
watching
Big Ben is like
during
the
Big
Mac
Ben,
guy.
obviously.
Yeah.
my
And
Oh.
hey,
hero.
Deontay Johnson and Kareem Hunt, Toledo.
Toledo. That's my team, and that's my team in the MAC.
Corey
Toledo.
Davis,
Those are some
Western
goobers.
Michigan.
Deontay Johnson, Kareem Hunt.
Corey Davis, Western
And,
Michigan. There.
Quinion Mitchell from on the Eagles
Yeah,
now. He went
Toledo.
to Toledo.
Okay.
He was a first rounder.
The Eagles, what a game they had last week. You know, Nick Sirianni once again showed his incompetence. Could have put that game away, but kept going for two
Yeah.
because he's Nick Sirianni. And I mean, he's honestly one of the worst coaches in the league, one of the most talented teams. What's gonna give?
Yeah.
You know,
this
what's
might
gonna
be,
give?
This might be a really close game. I
Yeah.
can see the Cowboys getting the upset, actually. Even though I said the game's lost its luster.
I'm taking Eagles though.
The Eagles,
Yeah.
I'm tempted to take the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I took the Jags last week. I mean, they got dominated for a majority of that game. That Saquon fumble that probably shouldn't have got called for touchdown. That puts touchdown. That puts them in the game.
Yeah.
The Jags, and them going for two ends up costing them. And Jacksonville's driving down the field. I'm thinking I'm gonna get this upset, and Lawrence throws a pick. Although Doug Peterson or whoever's calling their plays, I mean they had a 4th and 1. Didn't do it. They did like the worst play imaginable at one point. Their play calling's bad. And that interception, it was a jump ball to one of their backup running backs
Yeah.
on the outside. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Why would you? What in the world?
So that was just an incompetence against incompetence. So the more talented team won.
Yeah.
Eagles at Dallas. Yeah, I can't trust Dallas. I just can't. As much as I love picking against the Eagles, they're so frustrated right now. Are they going to be really ready to play? I'm probably going to take them to cover this game with Cooper
Yeah.
Rush, but I can't pick them to win. I just
Yeah.
can't. I can't do it. I think if Dak was playing, I'd pick them, but
Right.
Skip Bayless is like, Cooper Rush is better than Dak. Like, what? Okay.
Skip Bayless. He's where's he?
He's-
Where's he at now?
He's unemployed is where
He's
he's at. He has his
unemployed
own podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, congrats.
Hang the banner.
Nobody watches.
So we all have the Eagles. Okay.
Yeah. Cash has the Eagles too.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. This is a very interesting game. Jets at the Cardinals. Cardinals leading the NFC West. I know everyone had that
Yeah.
marked down halfway through the NFL season.
Give me the Cardinals.
Oh,
That's
right.
It might be a hot take, but I don't think it really is.
The Jets are favored 2 points on the road. You're taking the
I
Cardinals?
am taking the Cardinals because they
Wow. Okay.
that head coach.
I don't think
is-
that's not. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
good pick. The Cardinals are winning. They
Yeah.
keep winning games.
Yeah, I mean their head coach.
we gotta give them some credit. Kyler
Yeah.
Murray, James Conner has been an absolute beast.
Their head
Love
coach,
James
I
Conner.
think, is surprisingly solid, and I don't think they're gonna want to lose against the Jets.
Yeah, he's last year it was like a mess, and he was
Yeah.
like a lot of people were low on him. Remember he had that speech?
Yeah,
that
like
was,
he, it
really
seemed like
weird.
it just seemed like he was like weird, kind of. Like,
Yeah.
but
But I mean, they're
can't
5 and
argue with
4.
how they're doing right now. So
That'd be hilarious if I'm hoping the Cardinals win the NFC West.
Yeah.
For
Nate,
James
what do you
Conner,
think
too.
of this game?
yeah, for James Conner for sure.
Yeah, I got the Jets actually. I was thinking about picking I've been riding the car. I picked the Cardinals 3 straight weeks and they've won
Yeah.
every game. Or 3? Is it 2 or 3? I can't. They have like either 2 or 3 games. Yeah, the Chargers, the Dolphins, and then the Bears. But I'm gonna take the Jets here. I don't think the Cardinals are good enough to win 4 in a row and get this big of a lead. I hope they do. I really hope they win. But I'm gonna take the Jets. I think the Jets kind of found something with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson last week. I think just ride those two guys, Aaron Rodgers, throw to them, get Brees Hall the ball. I'm going to take the Jets.
I hate taking the Jets. Cashman has the Jets.
Oh, I'm a loner here, taking the Cardinals.
No, he's thinking about it. He's pondering the possibilities.
Yeah, I'm still gonna take the Jets. I'm still taking them. So
Be interesting. That will be an interesting game.
Yeah.
All right. So shifting to Sunday Night Football, this is should be a pretty good game. Although the Texans have been very poor offensively. Lions at the Texans.
I mean, I had the Packers last week, and they got embarrassed. The Lions are just running through everybody. They can win. They can win. Bad weather. They could get down and dirty, run the ball.
Yeah.
They could win in so many different ways. The Texans have not been that impressive. They just lost to the Jets.
Right.
They look pretty bad. They don't have Nico. They're without Dick. Is Nico back this week?
He might be actually.
And where's Nico Collins?
Nico Collins, estimated return date November 10th. Yeah, okay.
I think for this game, I'm taking the Lions.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Detroit also.
It's just I want to go Texans. I'm like maybe they'll bounce back, but no. It's so hard because the Lions, like you guys have been saying, are so good.
You can't pick against the Lions right now.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep picking them until they lose.
Even though I picked against the Chiefs.
Nico Collins did not practice, so he's.
Okay.
Or wait, Nico Collins ready to go.
Yeah, it says
What?
his return date is Sunday. He's on the IR right now, but his return date's Sunday.
Interesting.
What about is Tank Dell healthy?
I think it's a question. Tank Dell's playing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Detroit. I gotta go with Detroit.
Wow, Nico Collins leads them in receiving yards, even though he's on IR right now.
Dude, he's a monster.
Yeah,
I didn't
he is.
realize how good he
Let me see how
was
many
until
games.
this year. I mean, he's
Yeah.
He's played 5 games, and he has 567 receiving yards.
Yeah.
He hasn't played in a month, and he's leading the team in receiving.
Wait,
I'll probably take Texans to cover though, because I mean they often embarrassing loss like that.
But the
Detroit, you just can't. They're a wagon.
Yeah.
They're a wagon.
I would, but it's a small. It's only 3.5. It's not
Yeah.
like they're favored by 5 or 6. But
Right.
all right, and then we'll move to the Monday night game.
Wait, did Cash take Lions?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so everyone took Lions.
Congratulations, Houston Texans. All right, Monday night game: Dolphins at the Rams.
I'm taking the Rams.
Rams 1-point favorites. Nate.
All right, so I've been picking against the Rams.
I mean, the Dolphins could win. They very well could win.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep picking against the Rams. I'm gonna pick the Dolphins. They should have. They were right in that against the Bills. They're due for a win at some
They
point
are.
now. They're a good enough football team. I think it'll be like a home game for Miami too. It's just hard and in LA.
Whose house?
Not the Rams.
Rams
Not the
house.
Rams.
Whose house? Give me the Rams. That's my team. I had them winning the division. I still think they're going to. I'm rooting for it. I have a little bit of a wager on that. So,
A little wager? Is it a little wager? Or is it
yeah, it's a small wager.
okay?
I don't do big wagers.
Smart man.
Yeah. So, Rams. They got the Dolphins. I mean, they've lost 2 very close games. They might be due to win this one, if we're being honest. But,
yeah.
I'm not going to pick against McVay and Stafford.
It's just the Rams have won.
Can't do it.
I mean, they barely beat the Sea. They could have lost that game for sure. And I don't know. They're 4. I mean, you could make an argument. They definitely could win, but
the Rams didn't play all that well last week and
Yeah.
still won.
Yeah.
I mean, Geno
but
Smith.
I think that shows us more about the Seahawks aren't. Even as good
Geno
as we-
Smith's just not. He's good, but he's not.
Him being
What-
good set the Seahawks back because now
Yeah,
they're mediocre.
because
It's
the-
weird
Yeah.
to say that, but like
Yeah.
now they
But I think they have a good coach. I
Yeah.
think their defense is getting better. They
Well,
just got to get the quarterback
that's
thing
the thing with
figured
some of
out.
these
They got so
teams.
many good weapons.
Yeah.
The Seahawks.
That's the thing with the Steelers too. There's, other than they're 6-2, all right, but they've been stuck in neutral.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Seahawks have been stuck. It really
Yeah.
is. It really is who's your quarterback.
Yeah.
And that'll show you how
Well,
far you can go.
Russ is way better than. Well, we can't
No,
say
he's
that
not.
yet. No, we can't say that
Nah.
yet.
I don't even think at his best he's like leaps and bounds better.
No,
Geno Smith's
no.
a good quarterback.
Yeah.
He's just not, he's not in that tier that can deliver a Super Bowl in my
Right.
opinion.
I agree.
And then we'll wrap up the final game, Steelers at the Commanders.
So you have the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Who Cash take? Did he take Rams?
Yes.
Okay. Steelers again. Wait, they're at Washington.
It's
right?
in Washington, or it's in Landover, Maryland, actually. They're getting a new stadium, right? At some point,
Yeah.
they gotta get a new stadium.
If Washington is really the Texans of last year and the Texans won, I'm going Washington. I hate going against the Steelers. I want the Steelers to win, but I have to take Washington.
I did think about that. Go ahead, Nate. Who do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I think Washington. I'm really happy for them, and I had them like winning 7 games this year, which I thought was like pretty like above what people were saying.
Yeah.
And now they already have 7 wins.
Yeah.
But I think they've won some. Obviously, the Hail Mary.
They've
one of
had.
these
They've
games-
had. I mean, they could have lost last
They-
week against
yeah.
the Giants.
They could've.
The refs screwed the Giants. They should have had a touchdown, and it got taken away, and they had to take a field goal. And then Brian Dable went for 2 for some reason. These coaches
Telling
and
you,
them going for 2.
It's the world against Danny Dimes. I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta. Yeah. I'm gonna take the Steelers. I think
Yeah.
the Steelers win, and I've been cynical on the Steelers this year, but I mean now they're 6-2. They needed to start 6-2
Yeah.
for the back half of the schedule. I think this game has taken on a lot more meaning than we thought going into the season. I had this as part of like the first half of the year where it's like, oh, some of these easier games.
Yeah.
Now this is definitely not an easy game by any stretch. Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm going to take
Yeah,
the
I'm too.
Steelers. My stomach's grumbling over here. I'm going to take the Steelers to win. But I think it'll be a really close, a fun game.
Yeah.
But I think Jane Daniels, Steelers defense makes a big play late or something. TJ Watt.
So yeah, I want to talk about what Jake Bell said. How Washington is the Texans of last year. It's the same thing. It's a great rookie quarterback, a young team with a lot of momentum, a new coaching staff, new GM, new owner. Well, the Texans didn't have quite all of that,
Yeah.
but a lot of the same things. I think that this Washington team, now that you add Marshawn Lattimore, you could argue is better than last year's Texans team. Maybe. I mean, with the fact that they're 7-2. I mean, the Texans, I don't think were 7-2 last year.
No.
No. They finished 10-7, didn't they?
And I think Jay
Yeah.
Daniels' legs. I mean, he's still completing 71% of his throws.
Yeah.
And we saw Tomlin against these these good offensive coaches. We talk about this.
Yeah.
The scheme. It's just he's
Yeah.
not elite, right? So that worries me. This could be like the Texans game last year. However, what does history tell us? Overall, Mike Tomlin, against rookie quarterbacks,
As an underdog.
no,
too.
just
Well, I mean,
generally,
just as an underdog, though.
against
Yeah.
rookie quarterbacks, he is 25-6. That is the third best record among any coach since 1950. 25-6
Bill
against
Belichick,
rookie
undefeated or
quarterbacks.
something.
The Steelers off a bye.
Off a bye.
Off a bye.
Off a bye.
Mike Tomlin against a rookie quarterback. I don't feel confident in this at all, but I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, you should be confident they're off a bye.
They're off a bye.
Yeah.
And I just feel like so many things have gone right for Washington.
Yeah.
They've got some luck. The ball's
Yeah.
kind of bounced their way.
Right.
It's like something's got to give a little bit.
For sure.
Although they're a legit team. They're a legit team.
All right. So, do you guys want to end it with trivia?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do it. Okay. So, we could do this however way you want. I might have to back up so you guys don't see the answers, but there were.
This is Steelers trivia.
This is Steelers trivia.
He's had this ready to go. We just haven't done it
yeah,
in a
no
while.
worries at all. So, since the going into the 2011 season, there have been 17 Steeler players that were named as top 100 players in the NFL. So, how do you guys want to go about this? Should we take turns guessing? Because there are 17, someone's got to win because there's an odd number.
Right.
So, should we take turns?
Set in the top 100, the NFL top 100?
NFL top 100.
Like going into the season.
Going
like
into
Since
the
something-
season,
2011.
Yeah, since 2011. So,
How
for
do
this,
we want to do this?
should you guys have a certain amount of guesses and whoever gets the most wins, or should we take turns until you guys guess every single one?
I don't know. You're the trivia man. You
Yeah,
decide.
Because I feel
I
like
think
we
we
could
should
be here
just keep
forever.
taking turns.
Keep taking turns until
Yeah.
you guys get everyone.
And it's
Okay.
not. It's just the player, right? So we don't have to do the year.
Yeah, you guys don't have to do the
Alright.
year. Yeah. So.
Are you ready?
All
Alright.
Who wants to go first? You want rock paper scissors or?
Sure. All right. Ready?
Are you okay?
Oh!
Peyton Celesti.
Oh!
All right, let me make sure I'm counting the right one.
I was able to get that in there.
Yeah, we got 17. All right.
All right. Roethlisberger.
Yep. So here, let me do the tally.
Some of these
So
will be
Peyton-
the first like 8 or so are gonna be like pretty easy.
Yeah.
I think.
so
maybe more
Peyton's
even.
got one.
T.J. Watt.
Yep.
Cam Hayward.
Yep. Cam Hayward. All right.
Minka.
Minka.
Antonio Brown.
A B. Yep.
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell.
Joe Hayden. Is Joe Hayden on that list?
I feel like you won't.
Joe Hayden not on the list.
Damn.
Oh.
Hayden.
Here, let me think about this.
Why did I go?
That's a bold take
I
to
feel
do
like
so
he could
early.
be like a fringe.
He could have been, yeah. I mean, after his 2019 season was really good.
Let's see here. So how many do we
Oh
have?
wait. Oh no, they don't do. Never mind.
How many do we have so far? Like 5.
So
4.
you each have 3, and you're up right now. So 6 total have been named.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna go through positions here. Ryan Shazier.
Yes.
Okay. Troy Polamalu.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wow.
That one's an obvious one.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. This one I'm just gonna say this one just because it's just a funny one. Martavis Bryant.
He is not on this list.
Oh jeez.
Because he was good for like a little bit there. I was
Yeah.
wondering if he was like fringe stuff. I just want to
Yeah.
say that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. This is another Mike Wallace.
Mike
Wow.
Wallace. Yes.
Mike Wallace.
That was one I did not think you guys were going to get. but
Mike
yeah,
Wallace was really good.
He was really
I mean,
good.
he was the true number one before AB arose.
Yep.
Was James Conner ever top 100?
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
James Conner was.
Yeah.
Was
on
he
the top
really?
100, yes.
I thought he like for 1 year was like 90.
For 1 year, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with what he said but didn't guess. Heath Miller.
Heath Miller, yep.
Oh, it was. Yeah,
It was Heath
I
Miller.
thought 2011. I was thinking 2016 because we were talking about Pitt. Is that how I was
Yeah.
thinking? But then I was like, oh crap.
Yep.
I should have said that.
Well, you got James Conner though.
I know, but you got Heath Miller now.
Yeah.
Would you have gone?
He was in the back of my. He might have not have been my next guess, but he did cross my mind.
Well, Peyton is up 6-5 now,
Mm.
so the winner is going to be able to get 9. So just to give you
the race to
context.
9.
The race-
Yes,
the
the race
race.
to 9. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have 2, but I can't remember his right name.
You
right
want me
now.
to give you both a hint? Right now?
Sure.
There's a position group you guys are completely disregarding right now.
Oh.
Chris Voss.
Is that your guess?
Is it? I don't
Is that
know.
your guess?
I might as well. Chris Boswell. What the heck?
No,
I don't.
That's not the group. We're
that
disregarding.
is not the group you guys are.
Which
I
one are
will
we-
give you a hint.
What are we I mean, we're thinking
We said defensive line,
corner,
linebacker, safety.
running back,
Oh, we didn't get
offensive
corner.
line. Wait,
Oh no.
David DeCastro.
David DeCastro is
Okay.
one.
That's what we weren't thinking. David
Okay.
Peyton's up
DeCastro.
7-5 right
Oh,
now.
This
God.
is
You
this
gotta
is
go
not
back.
looking
Is
good.
there, is there another offensive lineman?
There might be.
Marquise Pouncey?
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
How did we
We
actually
just forgot about the
completely-
offensive
we
line.
Forgot about the offensive
So
line.
there's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys left. Payne's up 7-5.
Okay. Oh.
Jeez.
Wait. Maybe I got that number wrong. Wait, 1, 2.
Wait, am I down 1 or am I down 2?
You're down 1.
Oh yeah, you're down 1. It's 7-6.
7-6.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I miscounted. Yeah, there is 4 left. The math does add up to that. So
The math.
yeah, I did not do math for a second.
Okay, this is a corner. I don't know if he was that good though. Ike Taylor.
Ike Taylor is not on the list.
Ike Taylor. He was just on my mind. Ike Taylor. I don't know why. Yeah.
I'm I'm not gonna. There's people in mind, but I know like for sure that they're not. So we got 4 more left.
4 more left.
Can I get a guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so
Alejandro Villanueva.
he is not on the
No,
list.
yeah,
that is a
that
good
was
guess because he
stupid.
was a
thinking-
multiple Pro Bowler.
But I didn't think like offensive. We already went down the offensive line well.
His name, the receiver. Alan Faneca wasn't. He was. No.
If he did, it would have been before then.
Yeah,
so
he
was
wasn't in
not.
He
around
was
in
on the very back.
2011.
Yeah, he would have been like the
Um,
very back end of his career.
Yeah.
I'm missing a defense.
Do you guys want another hint?
Sure.
Yeah,
why
we're
not?
gonna.
3 of these players are on defense. 1 is on offense.
Vince Williams.
No, not Vince Williams.
I don't know why he came to my mind, but yeah, no, he wasn't all that great. What were you gonna say?
Actually, I could give one hint that it might take a couple guesses, but you guys could get it. One guy is playing on the team right now.
Wait, is it top 100 with any team?
No,
Or is it
as a
with-
Steeler.
as a Steeler.
As a Steeler.
Alex Highsmith?
Nope.
Wait. So did he have to play it down for the Steelers, or
He had to, going into the season, he had to be on the Steelers.
okay.
So
He
may have had his production to be
Oh
a
my
top 100
gosh,
on another
Russell
team.
Wilson.
Nope.
He was.
No,
he
no,
was
not
top
with the
100.
Steelers.
Not with
It's
the
with the
Steelers, though.
Steelers.
Not as a Steeler.
It's with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Oh, he had to have played for the Steelers going into the season.
Going into the season, he has to be a Steeler.
Okay.
So Russell Wilson for sure did, but he was a Seahawk during that time.
Oh right, duh.
So
yeah.
this player may or may not have been on the Steelers the year prior, but he is a Steeler now, and he's a top 100.
Oh, Patrick Queen.
Patrick Queen.
Wow, he's
Yep.
been like not good.
I mean, they can't stop the run.
Yeah.
So,
now you guys are
Mm.
missing 2. Here, I'll give a major hint. 2 guys that were edge rushers, and 1 that was a receiver.
Bud Dupree.
Nope.
Oh,
That is
that's
a good guess.
guess.
That's a
I'm
really
surprised.
good guess, but no,
Yeah.
no Bud Dupree.
I'm done. That's it. I can't get any more.
Um,
Juju?
Yes.
Yes!
Juju.
Juju.
Nate
Oh,
is staying alive.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh,
Juju.
my
Remember, he had like
gosh.
1,400 yards that one year.
I was going.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, okay, AFC.
He
East.
could
Yeah.
have.
And I
I forgot
thought
about him
Patriots,
for
and I was
some
like,
reason.
Well, you guys are missing 2 edge rushers, and they were. I mean, one played for a while, but he was at his best earlier. So think of 2011
not
through
gonna-
2013.
I'm
that-
not.
that-
I'm not good. With,
I mean, one you guys should name. Like
Is
if
the
you're-
one's
if we're
more
thinking of-
recent.
His last season as a Steeler was the 2017 season.
Oh, James Harrison.
James
I
Peyton
win.
Wow.
won. Do you guys want to try and name the last
How did I
one?
not get James
Yeah,
Harrison?
that
Wow.
one should. Yeah.
That's
This
yeah.
one would have been tough, but this last one, do you guys want to try and name him? This is like literally
Good.
the first, like 2011 he got it.
Go.
So
I think
he's
you
an
should
edge
name-
rusher.
I think you should just name him.
Should I name him?
He was like Farrier.
No, he was a more coverage linebacker.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Just name because we gotta.
Lamar Woodley.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
I
So
wouldn't know
Peyton
that.
won
I forgot.
9
Yeah.
to 7.
I know that name, but
Yeah.
that was a little young for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one I wouldn't have guessed like right away.
I'm kind of disappointed in both of us that we
Really?
didn't get James. That we didn't get
Oh,
James
yeah.
Harrison.
I'm disappointed
sooner.
that Troy Polamalu wasn't one of the first ones.
When
Hall
I
of
when I
Famer.
went to the bathroom, then he was like the first. I was like,
Yeah.
Troy Polamalu. How
Yeah.
did I not get that?
But
Like-
unless there's anything to add, I think that's all we have for this episode.
Oh yeah, I just want to make a quick note. Villanova basketball, very disappointed in you.
Yeah.
How do you lose to Columbia?
Yeah.
Kyle Neptune.
Wait, are you serious?
They lost at home.
Wait,
to
but
Columbia.
they don't have Jay Wright anymore. They're not
yeah,
as good
they have
anymore.
Kyle
Yeah.
Neptune now, but his seat is very warm now. Because
Who's Kyle? Where did he coach before?
I think he was the assistant under Jay Wright, and then he succeeded him. He's very young, but they've been very mediocre.
Yeah.
And it's year 3. They lost to some bad. They've lost to every Philadelphia team
Yep.
last year.
Yeah.
It was like crazy how bad they were. So he's on the hot seat for sure. But I just want to mention Pitt basketball tournament for sure.
Yes.
Hopefully, Jalen Lowe
Yeah. He
looked great.
Good. Yeah.
Uh,
Did they
it's
play
like
Radford?
Yeah, they
Never
play
even
Murray
heard of them.
State Friday night, which is tonight, but we're recording Friday.
Oh,
but,
that was what's his name school?
Ja Morant.
Ja Morant, yeah.
And
That's Murray State, right? Murray
yeah,
State.
and oh, no, I'm not gonna remember his name now, but this one play. What's the guy? The lefty. He's been on several teams. He's on the Thunder, the Bulls. He was on the Suns. Oh my gosh.
The lefty. Thunder.
He's on the Knicks now. He's on the Knicks now. He's been a backup point guard.
On the Thunder.
I'm just gonna get this real quick. I got it. This is bothering me.
We've gone to the point where
everyone's clicked off at this point. Everyone's clicked off.
Yeah, this is just for me. Oh, here we go. My phone sucks. I'm seeing his face right now. I hate the thing where you're
When's
seeing
Pitt's first actual good game?
They
play West Virginia in a week or so, don't they?
Yeah, I'll be at that game.
Campaign.
I know that guy. Yeah, I forgot about that guy.
They play tonight against Murray State.
Yeah.
And then they play at home against Gardner Webb on Monday. Then West Virginia Friday. I might go to that game.
I'll be at that game. So
I might go to that game.
Tickets are cheap.
But I got all sorts of connections.
Oh, okay.
You know,
hey, if you have a connections,
I might. You want to go to that game? Because West Virginia, aren't they better? I heard they
They're a little better because they were just terrible. They were so bad last year.
They were
so
bad.
Any improvement? They got DeVries.
They beat Robert Morris. Their first game, 87-59. Right?
Yeah, as that probably was gonna be. But yeah. Other than that,
yeah.
All right. Thank you
Steelers.
guys.
Let's
Steelers.
see what we can do.
Thank
Off a
you.
bye.
Yes.
Off a bye. Come on, Tomlin.
Like and
Come on.
subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe,
Thanks
please.
for watching.
Thank you, and have a great rest of your day and a great weekend.
Go Pitt. Win this week.